Hello YouTube vintage radio collectors. This is my favorite radio model of all time. This is the one that actually started me on this back in the 70s. My grandparents had one of these. It had been my mom's. She had left it behind when she was married in the bedroom, and it was there for years. And so if I stayed over, I would listen to the Electrohome twin speaker Roland series clock radio. And there's just something about it. I like the look of it. This mid-century stuff has always captivated me. Now this is a Canadian version, so it's made by Dominion Electrohome in Kitchener. Case is exactly the same. The clock, it's a Canadian Telechron. It's slightly different gear set in it. And this is an Electrohome chassis. If you've ever seen the Roland version, I do have some pictures of them. It's a little different, a little less metal. It's still a 5-tube. Just want to show you what I've done to it underneath. So the original filter capacitor, which was a wax covered can, has been replaced with a terminal strip. Flame proof resistors. Orange dips to replace the wax caps. And because these all have silver mica disease after 60-70 years, I opened up each IF can, pulled out the silver mica strip. I actually have a video on how to do it. And there's 100 picofarad ceramic capacitors on the outside of the can, so it's not going to have any kind of crackling or noise beyond what's out there already. Just show you some of the parts. Original filter, and it's filled with these Aerovox caps. Don't even bother testing them, I just clip them out and get rid of them. It's a twin speaker on each side. Something very interesting about these. This is my little surplus Russian Geiger counter I got at a surplus store. These dials, the early Telecrons, are a little bit on the hot side. Now we're not talking about a lot. Once you're a foot away, it's the same as background radiation. But the radium hands and dots are slightly radioactive. Now some of these, it's less than others, maybe where they've been, but there is a half-life to the radium, and by about 70 years old, most of it's depleted. But just something out of interest, it's not going to harm you. Like my mother used to say, I'd say, "Mom, does this old watch have radium hands?" And she'd say, "Yeah." "Should I wear it?" And she'd say, "Don't put it in your mouth." Anyway, I just thought I'd show you a little bit about the cabinet here. Move this out of the way. This one was originally white and coral two-tone, and this corner was bashed, seriously broken. I glued it back together using crazy glue, filled in the cracks with epoxy, did a bit of sanding and reforming. There were cracks all over the thing. I think it had a little bit of a rough life, and it had cigarette smoke residue, so I really needed to paint it. So I had nice and smooth. This is sort of a retro color. It's not an original color by any means, but it looks cool. And have the clock back in, and I'll put the chassis in and see how it works. Should be kind of neat. So these go back. These were made from 54 to 57. And it's funny, every single one, and I've done dozens of these over the years, no two are alike. There's little funny quirks. This one was one of the Electrohomes, and I don't know what it is about their factory. It had an absolutely horrible soldering job and rarely follow the schematic. Yet it worked. I did plug it in, there was hum, I was getting stations. Don't know what to say. But I've seen them with different, some are steel like this, some are galvanized steel, some I've actually seen a couple of aluminum ones, aluminum chassis. This light box is done differently. Some of them have 120, like a 120 volt 7-watt nightlight type bulb in them. This has a small 47 lamp. Different versions of the clock, number of different things. Little variations, different tube sockets, different transformers, some are Hammond. Anyway, just to thought you might find that interesting. Thanks for watching and listening.